One of our roles here has always been to take away excess money from people who don't know what to do with it, who can't think of a better idea about how to spend their money. In the old days, the mechanism for doing that was you throw it on a table. Put that into the context of throwing away a bottle of 7-Up at a club, that's only just slightly more honest about it.
If you're talking crass commercialism, in the very best sense of the word, this is it. Is it the cultural center of the country? We may not want to think it is, but is it?
What is the rest of the country? I don't know, but it's that place where they all leave and come here.
I took a walk through this beautiful world. Felt the cool rain on my shoulder. Found something good in this beautiful world. I felt the rain getting colder. Sha-la-la-la-la, 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 sha-la-la-la-la.
I can go to the desert, but I am not going to get there by accident. But that's part of the whole experience of the desert is that, you know, it ain't friendly, it ain't nice, it ain't good, you know? You're out here, you know, a half a mile. It doesn't matter if you're a half a mile out or you're 20 miles out. There's no reason to walk a mile further. You're already in infinite desolation. Sin City was true, it was real. Part of moving out here was you were never going to see the family again. I mean, that was this. I'm moving to Vegas, and you ain't coming to see me, and I ain't coming to see you. I mean, that's the character of the city. It really was the pit of America. It wasn't that somebody came out here because I'm going to make $1 million. It was I'm going to come out here and I'm going to survive, and you all ain't going to bug me anymore back home.
In Vegas, there's winners and losers. And God knows, I've been both. In a place like this where you can lose your shirt on the unlucky turn of a card, you need a friend. And for my sins, I got Ruhlman. Currently evading prosecution in just about every jurisdiction from his hometown Cleveland to Grand Forks, wanted for bail jumping, usury, misuse of livestock, assault, grand theft auto. Also the respected author of such food-related classics as the French Laundry Cookbook and Soul of a Chef. He washed up in Vegas at just the right time. Vegas was always the most unlikely of dreams, the longest of long shots in the middle of the desert. A real but imaginary space that keeps expanding, creeping ever larger across the wasteland. Back in the 40s, the 50s, it was a small town. 100,000 became 300,000, became 500,000, then 1 million, then 2. But it doesn't matter if it was 5 years ago or 50. The town has always ended like this. An abrupt cut and the desert rats on the horizon. But there are comfortable, dark places too, where a man can have a drink, meet like-minded sophisticados of the open West. Places like this.
It's the good stuff. It's Jameson Black.
Yeah, that's yum.
Well, you can do 30 of those.
Huntridge Tavern, where those who have to live it, see it, the things that men do day after day, night after night, in a town where people are encouraged to do their worst, where they can drink the stain away.
This is the side of Vegas I like.
This side.
Yeah, because people here are like really cynical.
Really?
They have a dim worldview, even more dim than me.
That's hard.
Do you know what this whole show's about? Do you know there's a theme?
No.
This is about people who live here. You know, when all the meatheads come and go, they're still here. These people have seen every variety of horrifying human behavior. So, I mean, the whole business model is come to Vegas and behave really, really badly.
I think it's encouraged people to be even worse. But they're expected to do that. Kind of makes my skin crawl.
Really?
Not here. Here, I like it. I'm comfortable here, even in my blazer.
Right. Is this an easy town to make a living or a hard town to make a living?
Depends on what you do. 25 years behind the bar, you see some shit.
If you were born and bred here,
I
Yeah,
am.
she's third generation.
third generation, are you an optimist or a pessimist? Do you think that basically the human race are good people?
I'd say roughly half of them.
Half are going.
Half are going.
There are probably more knuckleheads per square foot in the Vegas Strip than anywhere in America.
Yeah, but I'm
Anywhere in America.
not hanging with those people, man. There will be a few high-end meals during our adventure here. We will be sampling the other side. But there's a price.
There's always a price with you.
There are places in Vegas where the available rooms are not listed on any websites. Places reserved for the whales, the high rollers, the 10 million a night gamblers who arrive by private plane.
Bobby Flay probably lives like this all the time.
Yeah, it could go dark, couldn't it? Could get very dark here. I honestly never thought it would have come to this.
Well, it was dunking fries 14 years ago, so.
You've made some steps up.
You're making me feel better about all of this luxury, looking back at that.
Yeah, you deserve this.
You're right.
You deserve this.
Entering my golden years era. They don't show this in the Viagra commercials. You know, they're always running down a beach with a tennis racket. They're never sitting here. You know, go in and kill some young people. You'd be like, throw another poor person in there. It's getting cold. To victory, Roman. Victory in our time. You always try to comfort yourself in situations like this, thinking, oh, I'm sure they're, people who are really, really wealthy, they're probably really miserable. They don't know the sort of ups and downs, the happiness, the contrast, the passion that I have. But we don't know, do we? Right? Like maybe every day is like wonderful.
Gentlemen, just to welcome you, little toast foie gras, black truffle vinaigrette.
Lovely.
Yes, sir. Toast foie gras, black truffle vinaigrette.
Perfect, thank you.
Delicious.
Perfect, perfect.
The Hadrian Villa at Caesar's Palace. A little pad they give you if your credit line runs into the 8 figures. How did I get it? I told the casino that Wolf Blitzer was coming, that he was expected any minute. I suggested that Wolf might be hungry, and they sent up Guy Savoy. Fortunately, he doesn't watch a lot of television. And I plan to live large till they figure out that Wolf ain't coming. I'll deal with the fallout later. But for now, we live.
So, gentlemen, this dish is called the colors of caviar. Everything is in layers. On the bottom of the glass, you're going to find a caviar vinaigrette, topped with a cream of caviar, then topped with a puree of French green beans with caviar, then a quenelle of golden Ossetra caviar, and with you're finishing the dish with a caviar sabayon.
Ah, beautiful. Look at that.
It's rare that I say it's too beautiful to eat.
I was just thinking now. Oh, speaking of fantastically luxurious.
So, messieurs, this is a specialty of Mr. Savoy, the artichoke soup, with fresh black truffle and shavings of aged Parmesan cheese.
Oh, man. That's truffle.
So, messieurs, this is the marmite. It's a combination of pheasant, wild crab, and duck, seared foie gras, cabbage, and wild mushrooms. Please enjoy.
Wow, look at this. Oh, that is beautiful. You feel guilty eating this well?
I do.
You do?
I do.
I'm feeling guilty now, but it will pass.
I'll follow you then.
Wow. You ever even seen anything like this?
I don't think I've ever seen anything like this anywhere.
Yeah, me either.
And the thing is, you can see the main pool from the window here. You can see the hoi polloi.
I was thinking about inviting them all up to our crib
Don't you dare do that.
for a party.
No.
Hey, don't they deserve a good time? I don't know. Maybe not.
Not gonna happen.
We're getting back to guilt. Do you feel enlightened and inspired by this meal?
What are you asking? What are you getting at here? You're trying to get at something.
Try to make myself feel better. I mean, I'm trying to prove that I'm down with the people, man. I'm still cool.
This guilt keeps coming back.
I
You
feel-
keep bringing up the guilt.
You're right. I feel guilty.
Then don't do these shows. What are you doing here if you feel so guilty about it?
I don't. I feel guilty about not feeling guilty.
That's more to the point. Now you're
Right.
starting to be honest with yourself.
Right.
It's so easy to say I came out here because it's a land of opportunity. Well, that's really great, you know. But if you're not here, why else are you here? There's the good old wreck your life, you know, scenario. That's always pretty popular. But if you change your mind about wrecking your life, now what do I do? There's a lot less self-reflection about why people are here than there is about most other places. What a lost opportunity that is.
Sinatra and the mob are gone, but there remains still a certain sentimental attachment to the way things used to be. There were rules then, a way that things were done. And when they weren't done, there was always the desert and a hole in the ground. Also, there were lounges and rug joints and places where a man could get a proper plate of Italian-American meatballs and spaghettis. Thankfully, there still are such places. Places like this, the Bootlegger. It's a family operation. Mama Maria's family has been running it for 41 years. You got your veal parm, your fettuccine alfredo, your steaks and shrimps. Don't forget the iceberg wedge with the blue cheese, which, believe me, you want.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Bootlegger. Thank you very much. This is Charlie Schaefer, my esteemed father. My name is Laura Schaefer, and we're your entertainment for the evening.
I've got the blues, I feel so lonely. I'd give the world if I could only make him understand. Oh, it surely would be grand.
The Bootlegger has a reputation for being a locals joint, and it is. But there's a lot of out-of-towners, too, sentimental fools like me, who, if they don't exactly miss Frank Sinatra, definitely miss Dino and Louis Prima and Keely Smith.
Come home.
When I was 19, I got my first show on the Strip, and it was a small casino, which is not there anymore now. It's been imploded for something newer, bigger, and better.
Baby, won't you please come home?
And what I do anyway, it's part jazz, part nostalgia. But I mean, obviously I do it with a heavy dose of nostalgia because I'm recreating the whole look, not just singing the old songs. Which is what makes it fun for me.
To call your name. When you left, you broke my heart.
Pick one, Dean Martin or Frank Sinatra. You get to see one of them live in a small room like this.
Frank Sinatra.
Going with Dino.
I like Dino as a person better because I've never heard anybody say anything bad about him.
Whereas Sinatra, you'd have a hard time hearing something good. There does seem to be a soundtrack to Old Vegas.
A soundtrack upon check-in?
Right, yeah. Does that help?
Who, me or
Yeah,
any
does it help
other
you?
entertainer?
Well, an affection for the classics, an expectation that while I'm here, I should hear some standards.
I don't know if there's a certain place that people stay who are sentimental about Las Vegas, because there are very few hotels left that were there in the old days. They've all been imploded.
They've recreated ancient Rome, sort of, on the Amalfi Coast in Paris. You would think somebody would want to recreate Vegas. I'd go there.
I'd work there.
Yeah.
Every hour, every day, you won't hear me say, oh, baby, won't you please come on home? Baby, won't you please come home?
Thank you very much.
You know, you used to be able to go see Louis Prima 3 a.m., have breakfast, and then go out and watch an atomic bomb explode in the distance. I mean, that
That sounds like a good time.
I would like to live in.
Was it better before? Is it better now?
Well,
Is
you
it
know,
different.
It's better to talk about before. People loved having their mob stories, and there's that weird romance of bad people.
Yeah.
I don't think it actually was better. I think it was really good if you were Sinatra.
Penn Jillette, another cog in the entertainment machine, though at a somewhat more elevated level. Of the live acts left in Vegas, his might be the biggest draw. I suggested this place because Raku off the Strip is where every chef I know who knows this town said I should go. The Japanese modern izakaya known as one of the best places to eat in Vegas. Casual, but pricey. Pricey because the ingredients, many from around the world. There's sea urchin from Santa Barbara. Okay, that's not too far, but good. The tuna is from Spain, where it's best. The fresh river crab from Japan.
That was good, right?
Yeah, delicious.
I didn't even know oysters came that big.
Oh, yeah. Isaki sashimi, isaki belly, juicy deep-fried chicken, hamachi belly, and one of my favorites, fish collar, where all the best, tastiest, moistest, meatiest bits hide their favors. Penn has been living here and performing here for over 20 years. He knows.
The thing about magic is you cannot see it electronically. Many people who come to Vegas are people that see 1 or 2 live shows a year. And if you see 1 or 2 live shows, you might as well see something that you can only see live.
Right.
But you can never, ever see a magician anyway but live.
These days, for better or worse, live acts, live performers are being squeezed out in favor of EDM, electronic dance music. It's a DJ's world, and where once they used to say cocaine was God's way of telling you had too much money, now maybe EDM is.
We get invited to all the openings of the new clubs, but I simply don't understand it. And I'm embarrassed I don't understand
Are
it.
we just old?
I think that might be it.
Or are we non-douchey?
I don't know. You want to spin at the latter, I'm afraid it might be the former.
Used to be a whole spectrum of entertainers who existed almost entirely in Vegas. Danny Gans was huge here. Wayne Newton. They were gods. But what's the big money draw now? This. Come, ye lords and princelings of douchedom, hear my clarion call. Anointeth thyself with gel and heavenly body spray. Maketh the sign of the devil horns with thine hands. Let there be high-fiving and the hugging of many bros. For this is the kingdom and the power. Now frolic and maketh it to rain.
The cockpit. Power.
It is, man. It's crazy.
Just press a button and people respond.
They do, man.
Wednesday night at the Marquee. DJ Jason Lima works for the house. Tonight at Marquee and at other clubs like it around Vegas, somewhere between 8,000 and 10,000 people are going to stop by and drop a whole load of cash.
I mean, it's not just coming in here and ordering a bottle and sitting there and drinking it.
Right.
You're getting a full-on group experience.
The new money, the new Vegas, where the take at the big nightclubs is outpacing the take from gambling and slots, where everybody, for the right price and with enough sparkles and the right mix, can be a winner.
After you finish work, how long does it take for your adrenaline to level
At least
up?
an hour. At least an hour.
What are your dreams like, man?
I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I close my eyes and I still see the strobes. Ears are ringing. I still got like flashes of strobe lights in the
Las Vegas is an adult playland, and that's what we intend to be. If people want to see Mickey Mouse, they can go 175 miles down the road. If they want to see Bugsy Siegel under a rock, they stay here.
Is there a Mr. Vegas, like Elvis or Wayne Newton or Bugsy Siegel used to be? If there is, it would probably be this guy, former mayor Oscar Goodman. A man who knows, allegedly, and to the best of my knowledge, where all the bodies are buried, some of them equally allegedly, by some of his former clients. We meet over drinks at Oscar's, the steakhouse that bears his name and boasts beef, booze, and broads.
You had some colorful clients. Who was nice and who was less fun to have a...
Well, the truth of the matter is, all my clients were nice to me because I kept them out of prison.
Did alleged mob guys know how to eat?
My mother used to say two things, she said. She's the greatest lady. She said, Oscar's clients don't hurt anybody, they just kill each other.
Right.
And she also said, Oscar's clients take us to the best restaurants.
They knew where to go.
They knew where to go, yeah. And always treated right. I mean, they were always treated like kings and queens.
Did the feds hold it against you? I mean, you know, you were just doing your job, but I mean,
They didn't see it that way.
They didn't see it
They
that
thought
way.
I was a consigliere, as a matter of fact. In order to murder somebody, they had to get my permission. I mean, that's how stupid these people were.
Anthony the Ant Spilotro, Meyer Lansky, these were gentlemen not unknown to Mayor Goodman.
Well, a lot of people tell you that it's a better place when the mob was running it, and in many ways, that's true.
There were rules then that mattered. You know, the old saying, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. Back when the mob ran things, there was a certain urgency to that suggestion.
Well, we saw that with Princess Harry. I mean,
right. I mean,
and that was a perfect example. I mean, here's a guy who was here
Yeah.
having a good time in the old Vegas. That would have never happened. There would
Right.
never have been a disclosure. In today's modern age, it was all over the world in moments.
Moments.
Yes.
It says something about the town that His Honor served 3 terms as mayor. He's an unabashed booster, entrepreneur, drinker of hard liquor, and gambler. And he was never shy about admitting it.
I mean, it's unique. It's its own sort of
But that's what
hothouse
Vegas,
environment.
but that's what Vegas is. Vegas is unique. But I'll tell you one thing. You go to the airport here, everybody's smiling. When they come in, they're smiling. They can't wait to lose their money. Then when they leave, they're smiling after they lost their money. So I think it's very, very special. It's a special kind of place that people can take their basest instincts and just let it fly. I think that's good. I have no problem with that at all.
When you come to Vegas, you see this. The lights and smoke and mirrors, the casino floors. But who manages the machine? Where do they come from? Beneath the floors, behind the walls, above the winking surveillance camera lenses, a whole other world, manned by thousands and thousands of waiters, maintenance people, repairmen, chefs, engineers, plumbers, and croupiers. 3 shifts a day, they slip in and out of the casinos almost unseen through their own entrances. But it's these people who've seen it all, seen everything, night after night. Benny's been working here since Caesars opened in August of 1966. He's dealt cards to everybody.
I dealt to Diana Ross, Harry Belafonte, Sinatra, Sammy Davis.
Sinatra was not supposed to be particularly amiable at the table.
Sinatra was class.
Really?
It was class. It was the jungle. But those were good days. But it's nice now, too.
Would you describe yourself as a degenerate gambler?
Yeah, I definitely have been. I'm trying to move past that. We have a 2-year-old at home, so I'm working in that phase, but I'll always have that gambling gear. There's no doubt about it.
Eric and Erica Lindgren are professional gamblers, poker players to be precise. It's routine for them to sit down to a game with a bankroll of $500,000. Tonight, slightly smaller stakes.
Hey, Benny, how do you like my chances?
Good. Good.
That's a trained answer.
Instead of actual poker, we're set up with a dumbed-down for the camera version of Texas Hold'em. You play against the house. The odds, to say the least, are stacked against you.
Oh, here's a winner. Here's a winner. Yeah, 2 pair. He's cutting up over there. See how easy it is? You got this game down.
Uh-oh. Those are famous last words.
All right, let's put out a hundo. Let's see what happens.
All right, now we have a pair of 7s.
I want to bet.
Okay. I have trips.
Oh.
It's gonna be pretty hard to beat.
You're a dead man, Benny.
I'm a dead man.
I bet again.
Okay. 2 pair. Pair of deuces.
Oh.
2 pair. Pair of 10s.
Oh, no.
Pair of kings.
Benny.
Oh, full house.
Goodness, Benny.
Huh?
You got a full house. This is unbelievable. Is there like the cooler standing behind us?
All right, well, that works for me.
Thank you very much.
This was what we call a learning experience in my case.
That was fun. We got away with our shirts.
Let's not do it again.
Yeah, let's never do it again.
It's easy to find people that'll help you untangle a mess, but somebody's got to be the one to create the mess in the first place that calls for untangling. Where's our metaphor here? Easy to tangle, but untangling this. This is going to be so much fun.
Anthony Bourdain is an artist and a born and bred Las Vegas native. After many adventures, and I'm guessing some misadventures as well, he chose to live here.
To what degree am I complicit in the worst of our city by making art that glorifies the city? I don't profit directly from what those people do, but of course I do because I live in the city and that money rolls all around us. But how do we live with it? It's not why and where do the people come from who do the grotesque things people do here. It's how do we live here, complicit in it. And that's the big issue, is to be able to be self-reflective about the place, or you got to just go and stay high all the time because of the shame. I mean, you know, which is another popular way to deal with living here.
Is Vegas a friendly town?
Yeah, always friendly, because that's our job.
But I mean, to itself, you know,
well, that's a great
you're a
question.
local.
No. I mean,
No.
Not a bit. This town's never had any respect whatsoever for the people who just happen to live here. In the old days, we were co-conspirators in those days. We weren't citizens. The new authorities, the new power, is exactly as anonymous as the old power. No phone number, no access, not a chance.
There has been for some years an art community in Vegas. You know, like art, that makes your life, all our lives, better and makes us think. Granted, Vegas is a town designed to make you not think, to separate you from your money in as pleasurable a way as possible. So pleasurable that even after you limp out of town, leaking from your ass with nothing in your pockets, you want to come back and do it again. Reflection, not so good.
As a resident, what are the general rules of survival?
Don't cry about being broke. I mean, if I'm broke, more than likely it's because I threw away my money and too bad for me because I didn't get lucky.
Don't cry about being broke, okay?
I gave that away.
What's another one?
It's the smile. That is absolutely local characteristic.
This is a service industry town.
One of our roles here has always been to take away excess money from people who don't know what to do with it, and who can't think of a better idea about how to spend their money. We'll always take it. Well,
is that worse than before, or?
The wrong is there are people with that kind of income who could put it to so many thrilling uses and can think of nothing so crass and boring than to wave the money in the air and throw it away. How loathsome. But within us, within those of us who live here, is that challenge. And this has always been. Here we are.
You are sitting at Lotus of Siam, best Thai restaurant in Vegas by far, one of the best Thai restaurants in America.
Jet Tila has been here before. An LA guy, he came out here to do 4 years as executive chef at Encore, a Wynn casino on the Strip. He's a reigning authority on Thai food, but really everybody who loves Thai food knows about this place.
What you should order here should only be Northern. If you go to the back of the menu, it says Northern Specialties. If you come here and eat chicken with cashew nuts and drunken noodles, someone should punch you in the face.
Right.
It's one of those restaurants.
Saipen Chutama is the owner and chef. Now get this, and it's important. You don't do pad Thai here. You do what they are uniquely superb at, which is specifically the food of northern Thailand.
Num prick.
Oh, yeah, of course, love it.
Literal translation, chili dip. It's really more of like a composed, room temperature salad. Nam khao tod is a puffed, crispy rice salad with preserved pork sausage.
Well, that's good.
Jackfruit salad.
Jackfruit salad.
Jackfruit salad. This is hung lei, a pork curry, braised down with garlic and ginger.
This pork is amazing.
Isn't that great? And that's Northern log.
Right.
Very important dish.
Whoa, that looks really pretty.
This is cow soy. This is the food my grandma made.
That's perfection, man.
Oh. What I love about Vegas Asian food is on one street you got the best Szechuan food, the best Cantonese food, and you drive down the street and you get the best Thai food. It's a funky, awesome Asian
How did that
place.
happen?
Gambling.
But I mean, well, they're high rollers who come into town and they need the good.
A dude with a $2 to $10 million credit line at Wynn is going to go eat a $10 Chinese meal because it's the closest thing he has to home food. I'm gonna go eat Asian food, I'm gonna come back, I'm gonna drop $5 million more bucks, and then go home.
And this is what avant-garde cooking is. People think that we want to do things in a way because we want to be cool. No, we do it because really we believe we are increasing the value of the product we're working with. We are giving you the essence.
E by Jose Andres. Tonight, 3 seats. Tucked away in the back of another of Jose's restaurants, Jaleo. Behind the guys making paella over open flame in the center of a crowded dining room. Quiet, serene, a kind of magic. This is granted a far cry from the $1 shrimp cocktail and the all-you-can-eat buffets groaning under the weight of 1,000 carbs. Iberico ham and bean soup with black and roasted garlic. Jamon, baby, the world's best, like from Spain. Nitro almond cup, a frozen shell made from a puree of Marcona almonds, filled with almond milk espuma and finished with Andalusian caviar.
You know, Chef, this meal is working very well. My palate is open. I'm intrigued. I'm only growing more hungry and excited. The desired effect is taking hold.
If you are a famous chef and you're lured, as so many are, to the rivers of green promised by Vegas, it's nice if you can get yourself a playroom.
So, gentlemen, this is El Vermouth.
So it's mussels, olives with an escabeche foam.
He doesn't use the word foam.
I will say air.
Air.
Water. It goes all over the place. It's a mess. A chef cannot do anything with this. Air gives us the opportunity. All of a sudden, water is not water anymore. Water has a body, belongs.
The truffle egg, a gelée of truffles formed into an egg shape with an actual yolk suspended in the center.
And this is the idea of what if we will be feeding our chickens truffles? Will their eggs become like this?
Served with onion puree, a jazabal cream, and finished with more, lots more, shaved white truffle.
This is crispy chicken skin and escabeche.
I'm sliding this off right into my face.
Incredible.
So, gentlemen, this is your portion of the salt roasted foie gras, and Brian's gonna come finish it with a clementine sauce for you.
And light is key, light and flavorful.
Gentlemen, this is your next course. Cocoches al pio pio.
This is squid ink sauce?
Yep.
Awesome.
This is Secreto Iberico de Bellota. Secreto, or the secret, it's the secret cut of the Iberian pig,
yes.
located underneath the front shoulder.
This is an homage of the goodness of the sea meets the goodness of the earth. You know the work that goes into creating a menu like this? Hold on. That we put the work doesn't mean it's good. When a food critic, they come and they say, the chef was not there. And I look at the food critic saying, this is almost like a lack of respect. Who do you think these people are? Where do you think they come from? What do you think their careers are? Every one of those amazing thousands of chefs, sous chefs that we have across the world, they are as good, if not better, than the guys that have the big name on top with neon letter.
There is not 1 acre of preserved Mojave Desert in the city limits of Las Vegas. Why would you preserve this? This desolation is not nurturing. We can't be here unless there's a lot of technology supporting our present. And so, there's a sense of the city versus nature. This is not our friend.
You'd think, looking at the vast lakes, the canals, the fountains of Vegas in the middle of a desert, the flush of 100,000 toilets, that the casinos and what they bring would constitute an obscene waste of water. And indeed, water is at an ever more desperate premium as the water levels in the Colorado River Reservoir at Lake Mead decrease at an alarming rate. But it ain't the casinos that are the culprits. In fact, Vegas casinos are a model of water efficiency and conservation. Main culprit? The all-American lawn, a little square of green. Robert Kern is water police. He patrols the Vegas streets looking for evidence of water violations.
There's finally some water in the gutter, actually, on both sides. This is not their day. We're in an area where there shouldn't be any watering, yet there's water here. So that's what we do. We drive around looking for something like that to give them a little educational visit. Hey, you're not supposed to water today.
So you don't wrestle them to the ground, cuff them, and drag them in?
No, we do not. Although we can go to a fee.
Around how much?
$80.
$80. What about the...
Then it doubles.
Then it
160,
doubles.
320.
And it just keeps going.
Yeah.
It seems to me a losing battle to try to keep your grass green. Do you
Right.
really need a lawn in the first place?
Well, most everyone who lives here came from the Midwest or the East Coast, and it was all lush and green, and that's what Vegas was 20 years ago.
It was lush and green.
Sure, sure.
The city assigns watering days to control usage and also encourages xeriscaping, a landscaping style focused on drought-resistant plants and efficient irrigation. And if you don't get with the program, there's a hole out there in the desert for you, Dad. Okay, not really. You get like a notice pinned to your door or something.
But some people, they want the lawn.
Yep.
Gotta have it.
And they can have it, just don't water on the wrong days.
How critical is it?
Very. I mean, there's no snow on the Western Sierra, so we don't get any continued flow into Colorado dumping into Lake Mead.
Right.
So unless something drastically changes, which there is no foreseeable relief in the near future, but got to stay positive.
For the first 30, 40 years of the development of a town, you just couldn't conceive of what was ahead. What we had, whatever was the newest thing that was happening, was so spectacular and wonderful, and oh my gosh, we've reached a new eastern edge or western, northern edge. The odds are slim to zero that we're going to extend to yet a further horizon. It was inconceivable. So there's the thing. So what does the desert do? It exceeds our ambition.
In Vegas, nothing is permanent. It constantly eats itself, tears down, builds up, expands according to no known or easily understood plan. An organic thing, responding to the dark dreams of the American subconscious. Come frolic. Live like Caesar, or make money off those who do. Drop a few moist bills at a gas station slot. See the full spectrum of human folly and commit some follies of your own. Some time ago, something crawled or slithered or grew like a fungus. Something that started small, got bigger, lurched like a swamp thing out of the mud and moist earth and humid nights of the Delta. Then, it took over the world. So next time some smart-ass ferner, horrified by our latest ham-fisted foreign policy blunder, wonders out loud, what good is America? Well, you can always pipe up that the blues, rock and roll, R&B, and soul all came out of this place. One state, Mississippi.
I took a walk through this beautiful world. Felt the cool rain on my shoulder. Found something good in this beautiful world. I felt the rain getting colder. Sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la.
Right now we're in the middle of downtown Jackson, Ferrell Street.
It's a street with a lot of history. What it used to be like back in the day.
The street was packed with folks all over. They had their own restaurants, grocery stores, juke joints. I mean, everything happened on Ferrell Street that happened in Jackson for the African-American community.
The state capital of Jackson, Mississippi, located along Interstate Highway 55, just outside what's known as the Mississippi Delta. It's the kind of place that makes you wonder, why did they make it the capital? Until you grab hold of what used to be around here. Ferrell Street used to be the hub of African-American life in this city, its black commercial cultural center, When Dr. King came to town, he came here. Everybody did. Medgar Evers had an office just upstairs, here. Musicians like Tommy Johnson, Sonny Boy Williamson II, and Elmore James all played here, and the likes of Duke Ellington, Cab Calloway, Count Basie, and Louis Armstrong all took the stage at places like the Crystal Palace Ballroom and the Alamo on Ferrell Street.
What happened? Where did it all go?
What killed Ferrell Street was integration. Once we were able to branch out of our own indigenous black-run businesses, the black-owned businesses died.
Right.
So great for the black race, but terrible for the black business. In fact, the only reason you're coming to Ferrell Street right now is we have 2 churches, 2 funeral homes, and the Big Apple Inn. So you're gonna either die, worship, or come to my place to eat, and that's the only trap you have.
All 3 in that, you know.
That's right.
Not in that order, but.
Want them hot? How y'all doing today?
Back when things were hopping, Gino Lee's great-grandfather Juan Big John Mora moved to Mississippi from Mexico City, started a family with an African-American woman in Jackson. He sold hot tamales out of a steel drum on the corner. In 1939, he moved the operation inside, right here. Now, the last restaurant on the street. Lurking inside, waiting for us, is John T. Edge, who leads the Southern Foodways Alliance.
Mr. Edge, how you doing?
Well, sir.
Who makes a point, a mission, out of knowing and teaching as much as he can about the real culinary traditions of the South, and doing what he can to keep them alive and unmolested.
Thanks, sir.
Look at that. Awesome. It's just like a dream sandwich.
What you go for here are smokes, smoked sausage sandwiches, and these magnificent beauties, pig ear sandwiches called ears. Both pretty much served with the same garnishes of slaw, mustard, homemade hot sauce on a soft bun.
Now, as I understand it, originally this was one of those, nobody wants these things, they're dirt cheap.
That's exactly right. In fact, by dirt cheap, the ears were actually free.
Right.
When my great-grandfather started getting the pig ears, the local butcher was giving them to him because he was just throwing them away.
It's everything we love about pig, the texture, that makes it fatty, lean, all of that. Oh, that's good. Man, that is just hard to beat.
Isn't it good? It's a good sandwich.
And of course, some hot tamales, which at this point in history are about as Mississippi as they are Mexican. Like the blues, they came out of Mississippi in the early 20th century as Mexican migrant workers came in to replace African Americans who were headed to work in the great factories and stockyards of Chicago and Detroit.
You know, sitting down here, eating tamales, we can sketch a history of Mississippi. And that's kind of what I'm most interested in doing, helping Southerners understand that their foods are as African as they are Western European. And
if
hopefully
not more.
by way, if not, largely more, music and, all the other cultural expressions of the South. I think food is a sneaky way of getting at some of the serious stuff we've been talking about.
As I told you before, I didn't know what a cool job or what a cool restaurant I had until you showed it to me. I'm just making a living. Just like a lot of folks around Mississippi. We're not trying to make history. We're not trying to increase tourism. All we're doing is doing what we do.
There is a discomfort level about exploring Southern foodways, or particularly Mississippi foodways.
Right.
When you're talking about high-end traditional Southern cooking, you're talking plantation slavery cooking, because that's where these recipes came from. So to revel in that, you don't want to tumble into nostalgia. The potential for awkwardness and offense is enormous.
I want to be careful. I'm not saying that's what I want the South to be. I'm saying that's what people come South looking for.
Right.
They come to the South looking for the past preserved in an amber. But the reality is something different. I don't want to fix it in the past. I don't want to fix it in 1865 or 1965. I want it to progress and change. I want to document the change along the way and celebrate that change along the way. The burden of race is upon us and we ain't gonna shake it. And that can make us better.
I'm a Yankee. So for me, it's kind of shocking to see this flag. It means a lot of things to a lot of people. First and foremost, meaning I'm not a Yankee and I don't much care what you think. There's no doubt that much of Mississippi history is ugly. From slavery, which was pretty much the backbone, the foundation of industry here from the get-go, to Jim Crow, lynchings to church burnings. 14-year-old Emmett Till, killed for talking sass to a white lady in 1955. The assassination of Medgar Evers in 1963. The murders of civil rights workers James Chaney, Michael Schwerner, and Andrew Goodman in 1964. Hell, they had to send in 30,000 armed federal agents, National Guardsmen, and military police just to enforce federal law allowing a black man to attend state college. A notion that was, shall we say, less than popular here. To be honest, that was about all I had for an image of the state of Mississippi. That was all I knew, and it hadn't occurred to me to look further. But I've traveled the world since then, and I visited and learned to love many places not my own, cultures and beliefs very different from the Upper East Side of Manhattan. Why can't I love Mississippi?
All bets are off, I'm through talking. Never gonna fall from my spot, I move August. In September, block your October. So you should be thankful the party's not over. We won the race cause they ran a lame campaign. I'm over here cooking victory, you wanna taste?
Pi Infamous is a proud son and resident of Mississippi, a youth mentor in Jackson's church and public school systems, owner of a marketing agency, and hip-hop artist.
This town, it feels empty. Where is everybody?
I think one thing is a lot of people think that you have to leave Mississippi to be able to do something great. But I think a lot of it is there's so much bubbling in the undercurrent that sometimes isn't seen. And I think it takes an artist who usually takes something that's blank and creates something that's awesome to be able to see the potential in a place, in a canvas, so to speak, that has been vacated by others.
Soul Wired Cafe, one of a number of places where something is going on, where artists, entrepreneurs move into workshops, performance spaces, set up something new and good in formerly abandoned and neglected parts of town.
Yeah, you know the name already, so there's no need for intro. Gather around, get close. The hood is, that's exactly why the hood's here. And if you're trying to find, better look here.
This is a deeply, deeply conservative state, to say the least, right? This is a tough question because I've got my own opinion. Is it more racist than New York?
So I think there are some deeply ingrained problems in Mississippi that are connected to a very ugly past that we share with some other southern states. So, however, I think as far as we talk about racism expressed through a classist lens, I think Mississippi and New York are on par, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
Pi Infamous is originally from Clarksdale in the Delta and went to Ole Miss, but he's neither left nor lost faith. He feels an obligation to empower, uplift, educate, to contribute.
One of the important tasks of musicians is being able to really speak truthfully about what's going on without fear of reprisal, right? It allows the audience then to say, you know what, you're right. Now that you put it to a nice melody or to a nice beat, or you say it in that way, and hopefully then that engages them more and allows them to move. And I don't think any movement in the world has not had a soundtrack, right? Regardless of what it is. And so that's our job.
The hood here, that's exactly why the hood's here. And if you're trying to find, better look here. Close to lines, scared to cross. It's not fair to y'all. Make rules, break rules.
Depending on what metrics you're using, the Mississippi is somewhere between the 10th and the 4th largest river in the world. One thing for sure, it's big, and it's freaking strong. Also, you really gotta put your back into it if you're crazy enough to want to paddle a canoe around in its fast-moving waters.
What's the source of the Mississippi?
Well, anywhere raindrop falls in 44% of America. Its furthest reach is Three Forks, Montana. If you follow the volume of water, 2/3 comes down the Ohio River. But most people say Lake Itasca, Minnesota.
John Ruskey is what I guess you'd call a river rat. In 1998, he started the Quapaw Canoe Company, a custom outfit that leads guided expeditions on the Mississippi River and its tributaries. As a central part of his operations, he trains local kids from Mississippi and across the river in neighboring Arkansas under an apprentice program, teaching skills like hand-carving canoes, outdoor survival, and the ins and outs of guiding and the history of the river. Most of these kids come from pretty distressed neighborhoods, and the intent, is that once trained up, they'll stay with the company.
Nice paddling, Tony. You got the feather down.
Thank you. I'll be feeling that tomorrow. Buck Island. Most of the island could be under 45 to 50 feet of flowing river water from April to June with the spring ice melt and rainstorms.
We do a lot of cooking with Dutch ovens out here.
Multi-purpose and indestructible.
Mm-hmm. Hey, and the next step in this thing is that here are the greens, and we should stuff as many greens as we can into that pot.
You know, this right here?
Uh-huh.
All right. So how does your program work? Around what age are they generally when they get first time?
Teenagers. And as soon as they can hold a paddle, the only thing we ask is interest and commitment.
Well, what does that mean, commitment?
We have this thing called the 3 R's, which is respect of yourself, getting good sleep, eating good food, especially before we go on a trip. Second one is respect of other people, other paddlers, and of course the clients. And then the third thing is taking care of the river. And you know, they've been told by their parents, don't get on the Mississippi River. And maybe they don't even know how to swim. And you know, for a young man or woman, overcoming a fear like that and getting in the canoe and then to have people come and appreciate what you're doing is a life-changing experience. But within that is this incredible, bright, and beautiful spirit that is intact in the Delta.
Sweet potatoes, greens into the Dutch ovens. Throw on the corn when getting close. Finally, on the wet logs on top of glowing coals, lay some steaks, some pork loin and pork tenderloins right on there. Just keep an eye on them.
Good, we got a full spectrum of steaks. Potatoes perfect.
Corn on the cob?
Yeah. Hunk of bread. Living large on the Mississippi.
And yes, there is too much food for 2 people. And yes, that is a whole hell of a lot of meat. And I know it would be awful to waste all that extra. But don't worry.
Woo, woo. Woo, woo.
Woo! Because these gentlemen are tired and hungry.
Welcome, gentlemen.
Right on, Quapos. Come on. Corn on the cob here, greens.
Oh, I'll be cookie. Yeah, got a little more of this. Oh, looking good. I don't want to say I'm good, but I'm good. All right. Pork, sir? Who's missing steak here? You, sir? You got? Who needs steak? I feel all Crocodile Dundee. Beautiful. So all that paddling, how bad am I going to hurt tomorrow? Oh, I don't like the sound of that. I got the name called Mindy. That hesitation, not a good sign. Those tenderloins are nice. Good stuff. Man, we have mastered the wild today.
The Mississippi Delta is a big sponge that stretches between the Yazoo and the Mississippi. It's what's called an alluvial floodplain of about 7,000 square miles, or almost 4.5 million acres. This area used to look very different. Massive, wild, old wood forests and swamps. After the passage of the cheerful-sounding Native Removal Act of 1830, the Delta became open for settlement by any white people crazy enough, hardy enough, determined enough, or just plain mean and greedy enough to come here.
They got that whole plate. They need that whole plate. 4 dozen. Do it again.
There's no way to make up for our bad racial past, but you do, you know, the sense of community that keeps people here is evidenced in this place.
Julia Reed is Greenville born and raised, the daughter of a political family, a writer, author, and as Delta as it gets.
How long have you been in Mississippi?
22 years. I came in 1992.
John Currents is a celebrated chef who left New Orleans to come to Mississippi and open first one, then many more restaurants and businesses in the town of Oxford.
I've stayed busy.
And this is Doe's Eat Place in Greenville.
Hello, hi.
This is the great Florence Signa.
Wow, it's so good to meet you.
Florence in charge of the salad bowl and has been for, this is Florence's Doe senior sister-in-law. When did y'all open up, Florence? 1930? 41, close enough.
Like a lot of folks around here, Dominic Big Doe Signa got his start selling hot tamales to go. At the beginning, the place catered to the black community. But after word got out how good the food was, white people started coming, which led to a kind of weird accommodation to the segregation of the day. Blacks came in the front, white people snuck in the back. The menu expanded with the clientele.
What human qualities are unique or marked in the native of Mississippi?
I cannot address Mississippi because, like I said, the Delta is a whole nother planet.
Okay, better question then. How does the lifelong Delta resident differ from
You had to be a little crazy to want to come in the first place because it was like the swamps, buddy. It was underwater. I mean, you had to be crazy to come, and you had to have enough money to make it work. So you had some sort of gamblers. I mean, that spirit still infuses the place. It's a little reckless. It's sophisticated because they'd all come from elsewhere. You know, I mean, you go from the Delta to the hills. I mean, we're totally snobbish up here, even when we didn't have a right to be. I mean, where you just came from, Jackson. Are you kidding me?
Really?
You'd have to be paid money to go to Jackson from Greenville.
Do they feel the same way down there about you guys?
They don't get us because they ain't got no sense of humor.
So what about the food? Has this place changed at all? And
No.
It's been 20 years since I was here last, and literally exactly the same.
Not much in the way of capital improvements or time motion study. The system, such as it is, well, crazy. You eat right here in the kitchen. In the division of labor, the flow of work, well, I gave up trying to figure it out 5 minutes in and just figured I'll get loaded and eat all this delicious food. The salad thing is famous. Hand-tossed in the same wooden bowl for decades. The hot tamales, same as they ever was.
And Doe's tamales are just incredible because they're made with the steak drippings and stuff that you're getting ready to see. So it greatly enhances the flavor. Oh my God.
I could eat them till I was sick.
Fries done in cast iron pan on the stovetop. The famous shrimp. Steaks on an old roll-out broiler. Drippings all over the top.
And you know, you're not going to get skinny or healthy eating the hot tamales and fried shrimp and steak at Doe's. There's no question about it.
Oh, that's good.
Started right here.
Happy. It's the grease that makes it. Uh-huh. Man, that's good. No, you're right about those shrimp. They are delicious.
The shrimp? Oh, yeah.
Is there a dessert that I should be saving room for?
Are you kidding me? There is no dessert. It's pretty damn bare bones, my friend. If you ask for one, they'll give you a lollipop.
This is exactly what you expect in Mississippi, though, right?
Yeah, it's supposed to look like this.
You know, I moved here from Georgia, and the thing that struck me when I moved here, driving through the Delta the first time, was just how empty it was. Like, you know, it's like everybody left.
The Great Migration. 3 factors. Automation. The invention of mechanical means to pick cotton. The call of better paying jobs in the industries of the North. And of course, freedom.
You know, people think about the blues as a lament. A lot of blues songs are about freedom, about getting the hell out of Mississippi, you know, and there were a lot of reasons to get the hell out of Mississippi for a long time. Now there's a return migration, and there's that whole period, late 60s, early 70s, where kids are bugging out of Brown University to come sit at the foot of an aged blues in Mississippi. There's a cyclical pattern to that. Now, you know, you see people kind of doing the same thing with food. Like there's a whole generation that wants to come down here and sit at the foot of an aged catfish cook.
State Senator Willie Simmons has been an elected official of the Mississippi Delta for 20 years. And he's been running this place, Senator's Place, for 11.
Now, what's the difference between soul food and traditional Southern food?
It depends upon the culture and what neighborhood you was in. If you were in the black neighborhood, then it became soul. We probably put a little bit more of the throwaway in our cooking. The pig feet, the pigtail, the neck bones, and all of that's fatty.
Now you're making me hungry. Now you are definitely.
Well, there's some neck bones out there.
Okay. Oh, excellent. So greens?
Turnip greens.
Oh, I'll have some of that for sure. Is that fried okra there? I'll have a little of that. Yeah, I might need more than one plate at this rate. Let me get some mac and cheese. What's that, lima beans and the red bean. Oh man, that looks kind of good too. Yeah, a little bit of that. Neck bones floating around somewhere? Okay, yeah, I'll have some of those. Little rice and gravy on there? Yeah, thanks. And, oh, I don't know, a piece of fried chicken there. If you got a thigh, that would be great.
Okra's perfect.
Yeah, it is. Oh man, that's good.
Now here in the South, if you want to, you can throw your fork away and just grab that egg bone. And...
Oh yeah, I'll be working on that once.
We forgive you and don't hold it against you.
I'd eat this okra all day long, man. It's good.
And I don't know what you think about those greens and butter beans.
Oh man, they're nice. Man, that's tasty. Do you think the right people get the credit for Southern cooking as we know it?
I do.
You think the right people get the credit? I mean, look,
People know. People know who's behind this food, whether it's called soul food or whether it's called country cooking.
How is the Delta, the mindset in the Delta, different than the rest of the state?
No one else can compare with us. Like, there is no other senator who can sit and talk to you and tell you that they represent Dockery Plantation, where the blues supposed to have been born. There's no one else can tell you that in his district is the home of B.B. King. Can tell you that he represents the area where Fannie Lou Hamer came from, where Jerry Butler was born. Go on and name others, the staple singers. When we talk about the heritage and the culture and what comes out of the Delta, that's all within this little district that I represent. So the Mississippi Delta has that pride.
46 miles southeast is Greenwood, a town with a lot of history, most of it of the not good variety. Known, unfortunately, as much for Byron de la Beckwith and Tom Brady's infamous speech after Brown versus the Board of Education as anything else, fairly or not, it's hard to get past that. During all the years of cruelty and struggle from 1933 on, through it all, and until today, this place, Lusco's, was a beloved institution. Once a grocery store, it turned restaurant to the moneyed class, serving them in discreet quarters in the back, where one could enjoy an alcoholic beverage in what was then a dry state.
Still going after all these years and unchanged. Why?
This place is like a reliquary of like indiscretions past, you know?
But maybe to really tell the story of this place, you have to start with the story of its most famous employee, Booker Wright, who'd been working at Lusco's as a waiter since he was 14 years old.
Glad to see y'all. We don't have a written menu. I'll be glad to tell you what we're going to serve tonight.
In 1965, NBC News came to town, making a documentary on race relations. Booker's entertaining recitation of the menu at Lusco's was famous around town, so they asked him to do his usual routine for the camera.
We have fresh shrimp cocktail, Lusco's shrimp, fresh orchard on a half shell, baked orchard.
But at the end of his usual litany is where he dropped the truth bomb that nobody was ready for. Right here.
Now, that's what my customers, I say my customers, be expecting of me. Some people are nice, some is not. Some call me Booker, some call me John, some call me Jim, some call me nigger. All that hurt, but you have to smile. If you don't, what's wrong with you? The meaner the man be, the more you smile, although you're crying on the inside. I'm not gonna tip that nigga. You don't look for no tip. Yes, sir. Thank you. What did you say? Come back, because I take care of you. So that's what you have to go through with. But remember, you have to keep that smile.
telling the truth was still risky business in 1966 Mississippi, and Booker Wright was not rewarded for his candor.
It was not a good experience for him. It did not make him a star by a...
Not within the white community, but even though Stokely Carmichael maybe first chanted Black Power here, that was less important to the black community here than what Booker said on the NBC News.
Yeah.
The private dining rooms at Lusco's are still here. The menu, much the same. Steaks, fish, the famous broiled shrimp, the Lusco's special salad with the house Italian vinaigrette dressing, and a healthy dose of anchovy. Onion rings.
Salad makes me happy.
Yeah, me too.
Mostly the anchovies make me happy.
Yeah, love those.
Catfish for Mr. Edge, the famous pompano for me.
It's the kind of mark of being a great restaurant in the Delta, if you have pompano.
It's a big damn fish. No way I'm finishing this.
Sitting here, the booths, the curtains, the whole ring bell for service thing, it seems lost in time.
We got a long and ugly history, but one of the things I love about this place is you can't deny the burden of the past. It gets on your shoulders, it's right there. Like, America chooses to deny its problems, in many ways, and declares itself a post-racial society. That just shit doesn't fly in Mississippi. You can't claim that.
Oxford, Mississippi is a lovely, incongruously eccentric little island, a mutation, a college town, a magnet for writers, thinkers, and oddballs, drawn perhaps by its rich literary tradition as the home of one of our greatest authors, William Faulkner. Faulkner was a Mississippi native, a former postman, an outdoorsman, an eventual winner of the Nobel Prize in Literature and 2 Pulitzer Prizes for fiction. He never graduated high school. This was his house, Roanoke. Faulkner wrote such American classics as The Sound and the Fury, As I Lay Dying, Light in August, and Absalom, Absalom. And many of his works took place in a fictional county, a place very much like this place in Mississippi.
This is where Faulkner started his writing career, in this room here.
For the past 10 years, Bill Griffith has been curator at William Faulkner's estate.
He added this room on after he won the Nobel Prize. And on the wall here is an outline of one of his novels.
Yeah, that was his greatest book.
Faulkner thought this was his masterpiece.
Jack Pendarvis is the author of Your Body is Changing, The Mysterious Secret of the Valuable Treasure, and Awesome, as well as a staff writer for the game-changing animated series Adventure Time, all works of which I am a huge fan.
So we wrote right on the wall.
He just wrote on it.
It's his
That's
man
it.
cave.
Yeah, it's his version. He said that houses in Mississippi who have a family business have one room dedicated to the family business, and this family's business is writing.
From as early as 1919 through the early 60s, Faulkner wrote extensively about the post-Civil War South. He was the first author to do so, at a time when most writers were writing about anything but.
He always said that he wrote about a South torn between itself, torn between the old ways, the old traditional ways, and modern development. He said he was going to break the antebellum code.
Right.
And he did.
But
he did. And yet,
antebellum house.
he had those hobbies and interests that were definitely of a gentry class and a gentry nature.
His portrait and his horse.
Yeah, there's a great example of him in his writing habit. That's a great example. You do get to a certain level of success, and all of a sudden, this seems like a good idea. And it's never a good idea at that age.
At any age. Right?
Exactly.
Was he politically active at all? I mean, there was a lot going on.
He's a middle-of-the-road Democrat. That's what he said. He said you have to bring black education up with white education. And since the state of Mississippi will not invest in black education, it's up to its citizens to do so. He said that segregation wasn't about being right or wrong. He said any sane, sober Southerner knows that it's wrong. It's about wanting to change or not. But people don't want to give up power. Fear is still alive and well in Mississippi. I think racism is one of those great things in the world that you'll never solve, and that's why Faulkner wrote about it.
Writers, as I know from looking in my own dark heart, are generally terrible people. Put 10 of them together and it's like putting your head in a bag full of snakes. I meet a bunch of them above City Grocery, John Currance's place on the square. There's the brilliant author Tom Franklin and his wife, the poet Beth Ann Fennelly. Grisham writer-in-residence Megan Abbott. Pendarvis, you know, poet Chioma Elliott. Wright Thompson is a senior writer for ESPN. Fellow writer on the series Treme, Chris Offutt. Novelist Ace Atkins. Poet Derek Harrell is originally from Milwaukee. Crime novelist Billy Boyle from Brooklyn. Downstairs, Currance's restaurant City Grocery cranks out many delicious things. The man known as Big Bad Chef, aka Johnny Snack, is sending some of those goodies upstairs, as there's nothing professional writers like more than free food.
Usually you put 5 writers in a room, it's an ugly hell broth of envy, hatred.
We all hate Tommy.
Right.
No, that goes without saying.
Even me, I hate me worst of all.
Around here, anyway, the writers are really supportive of each other. For writers to argue would be like arguing over a piece of dirt. I mean, what are we fighting about? The stakes are so low. Why would you be a jerk about it?
If Mississippi were a country and there were a national hero, dead or alive, by consensus, statewide, who would the statue be of?
Elvis.
Really? Wouldn't be B.B. King.
It should be B.B. King.
I mean,
Yeah, but it would be Elvis.
But it would be Elvis.
Well, I mean, Mississippi is, the joke is that it's not a state, it's a club, that it's so small that everybody knows everybody.
In the middle of Mississippi, Oxford is an oasis of thought and art and literature and feeling and sentiment and everything. They call this place the Velvet Ditch.
Why the Velvet Ditch?
I guess you just roll in, it's pretty friggin' comfortable, and you don't care much about getting out. Right? Am I right?
Well, no one here seems too bitter about that.
It's a place that needs help, but it's a really great place. We're never leaving.
Is there a distinctive barbecue style in the state of Mississippi?
No, not that we can really discern at all. And it's part of the reason that we wanted to do this. We got our hands on this place and sort of been puzzled for years at, what Mississippi barbecue is all about. The more I dug into it, the less and less I could find. So what we wanted to do is sort of take a look at barbecue that surrounds us and see if we could sort of Frankenstein barbecue.
There isn't really any fixed idea of Mississippi barbecue. And other than this place, Lamar Lounge, John Currance's not-for-profit bar restaurant, there's no other pit-smoked whole hog barbecue in the entire state. A 175-pound pig will feed many mouths. About 250 people eat here a day.
Now, this is a not-for-profit establishment? Is that right?
Yeah, it sure is.
What kind of socialist, communist are you up to, Currance? What's going on here? This is the state of Mississippi.
Oh, just a feel-good kind of guy.
Me too. I've been here only a week, and my sentences, they're starting to change already, because it's not just a rhythm to the speech, but the way I'm organizing my thoughts is starting to change.
Some of the Oxford writers from last night managed to make it out of bed, heads pounding, no doubt, filled with a shame and self-loathing surely familiar for writers. But like such greats of the past as Malcolm Lowry, F. Scott Fitzgerald, and Charles Bukowski, they too have learned that more alcohol first thing will often make you feel better about the world. Particularly if accompanied by freshly baked cornbread, biscuits, pulled pork off that whole hog, sweet jerk chicken, and brisket. Hell, I feel better already.
The Mississippi that I've received is not the Mississippi that I've had in my head, I was surprised on how sold I was off the bat. If you want to write, come to Oxford.
You think that's true? Well, apparently, yes.
I mean, like that line in Barton Fink, you can't throw a rock without hitting a rider. Then he says, do me a favor, throw it hard.
It's easy to just look at Mississippi and go, that just happens down there, so we're good, our hands are clean. It's a totally misperceived place. When I came, I fell in love with the place I never thought that I would. There's something to it, but you can't put your finger on it, on what it is.
What it is can be found in the dark spaces across the tracks and on the other side of town.
Hey, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Red Page Lounge, right by the cemetery and back by the river. Leo Bud, welcome. Your mother.
What is a juke joint? You've heard reference to them, no doubt, but what is it? I guess the first thing you gotta know is it's pronounced juke joint. And this is a real good one. Scholars have suggested the word juke came from the Gullah, descendants of enslaved Africans, and it meant wicked or disorderly, to dance, or a place of shelter. Juke joints started as plantation community rooms during slavery times. They went on to become the small, private African-American-run bars, clubs, and lounges. First in rural areas, then in towns and cities, where workers could dance, drink, party, and gamble as a respite from the hard labor of Delta sharecropping, tenant farming, house service, and segregation. They were often condemned by church leaders as houses of the devil. William Po'Monkey Seabury runs this place, as he has since 1963, and he makes the rules.
How long has this been a business?
I've been in this place 58 years. I'm 74.
How did you get into this business?
I just got into it. Something I like to do, and everybody come here and enjoy themselves. No problem.
And please explain this policy. You know, no hats backwards and no pants hanging down.
That's right, that's right. If you don't like my rule, don't come, cause.
What are the rules here? No rap music.
No. I'm about that bumper. I don't like that stuff. Give me a headache in the brain. I love all blues. All of it good to me, as long as it's blues.
Good R&B?
That's right, that's right.
But no rap?
No.
Never? Even if Kanye West wants to rent out the place, you gonna rent it to him?
Yeah, I'd rent it to him.
Okay, just in case.
So I ain't got time to work with them and keep down all this old bullshit. If you ain't come for a good time, stay with me.
Words to live by. Well, thank you, sir. I love your place, and thank you for having us.
Well, you got to come back again.
Oh, I surely will.
I'll find somebody to get naked with you.
Uh-oh.
Okay, DJ, you can kick it back off.
Mama's a bad girl and she's bad. Thursday night, don't forget about it. Karma Radio.
Thursday night is family night at Po'Monkey's. Mostly locals, a mixed bag. The music is classic R&B and pre-disco soul. The attitude, loose. Just familiarize yourself with those rules and there won't be a problem. In the cities of the North, where I come from, in some ways we've been able to buy ourselves free from our past. New arrivals pour in with no memory of the ugly parts of our history. We can afford the luxury of the new. We can live in comfortable bubbles or apartments high in the sky. In many ways, more separate than at any time in history. But for Mississippi, the past is right there to see. still present, and coming to terms with it, not an abstract discussion, but the daily business of life. This is where I bought my first bag of heroin. It was 1980. I was 24 years old. But in a lot of ways, my whole life up to that point was leading to this address. Western Massachusetts, the unlikely new frontier of America's war on drugs, where heroin has become an exploding problem that's begun to touch nearly every family.
I took a walk through this beautiful world, felt the cool rain on my shoulder, found something good in this beautiful world. I felt the rain getting colder. Sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la, sha la 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 la.
There's nothing like the North Atlantic. It's majestic. Yeah, I love the beach. Pretty much had my first everything on a beach. You name it, first time I did it, beach. I was miserable in love, happy in love, alternately, as only a 17-year-old could be. This is where I lived. A very happy summer in the early 70s, and that was my room on the left. It's an amazing spot if you think about it. A bunch of knuckleheads working as dishwashers and waiters and pizza servers. You know, we could live on a beach like this. You know, happier, stupider times. You know, I can still hear the playlist, Strawberry Letter and the Brothers Johnson. If you put on Marvin Gaye right now, I'd burst into tears. What do? You're young, you go to the beach, you know, you get laid and you get high.
It was here, all the way out at the tip of Cape Cod, Provincetown, Massachusetts, where the Pilgrims first landed. And it was where I first landed. 1972, washed into town with a head full of orange sunshine and a few friends. Provincetown, a wonderland of tolerance, long-time tradition of accepting artists, writers, the badly behaved, the gay, the different. It was paradise.
The joy that can only come with an absolute certainty that you're invincible, that none of the choices that you make will have any repercussions or any effect on your later life, because we didn't think about those things. I don't even know what I thought I was going to be. At that point, I certainly didn't think I was going to be a cook. I don't know what I thought I was going to be. I was just, you know, hanging out in a beautiful place.
A golden time. I look back on those fuzzy memories and they seem golden anyway. Oh, there's John Waters. First love, and there's me. This guy, Johnny Yingling, was sort of a central figure in all of our lives.
Well, my name is John Yingling, and this is Spiritus Pizza. It's been here since 1971. This town is everything to me. Provincetown is a really special place where people can be themselves. We all did drugs, acted young and crazy, and Tony was probably a little wilder than some and not as wild as others. But he was always a guy who I always liked.
And you let me sleep on top of the walk-in.
Right, I actually remember that.
Spiritus. I cannot tell you how frequently I dream about Spiritus Pizza. I'm walking down Commercial Street, and I'm sort of dimly aware that Spiritus has moved, and there's a sense of dislocation and a loss as I stumble around this sort of Provincetown dreamscape of 40 years ago. Well, we're still here and living in hope. Cheers. Unbelievable.
Many of the old places in P-Town are gone. But the lobster pot is still going strong all these years later. and still has what I want and need, the essentials. My friends worked in the kitchen here, starting the tradition among my set that cooking work was noble toil. At that point, I never intended a career as a chef.
It was great to be a cook.
I was getting to that. Oh, yes.
So this is homemade Portuguese kale soup made on the premises.
It's been a long time. Thank you.
Enjoy.
Portuguese soup, a P-Town version of the Azorean caldo verde, and just what I remembered. Kale, fiery red chorizo, linguiça, kidney beans, potatoes.
Oh, I missed you. Yeah, I missed you bad.
And that was precisely what I loved about the food here, the Portuguese thing. Dishes like this stuffed cod crusted with ground Portuguese sausage, breadcrumbs, stuffed with scallop and crab, some sherry, red sauce.
I hadn't been working for a while. I was a deadbeat. I mean, I'm just, scarfing off everybody else. And Nancy Poole comes home from work and says, our dishwasher didn't show up today. You're our new dishwasher. I said, oh, really? And the next day, I put on the apron, and I didn't take it off for 30 years. I'd wake up, all of us go to the beach, hang out on the beach till like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, it was fun.
Roll into work all night, drinking, getting high, drilling out food. You got all the food you wanted, all the liquor you wanted.
All the sex you wanted.
All the sex you wanted.
It was true. It was fun. We had a great time.
And yet you were still an essential part of the economy.
It was a lot of fun, believe me, I remember.
The Flagship. It's where my cooking career started, where I started washing dishes, where I started having pretensions of culinary grandeur.
That would seem like a good gig for anybody. Who else got to live like that during that time? You had to sort of be in a band. Here we were, we were dishwashers.
Now you get a little older and you get a little more sense and you realize that, you gotta pace yourself a little bit.
Otherwise, we still wouldn't be here. Well, many of our friends from those days didn't make it.
Many of my friends are dead, yeah.
As you were. Keep drinking, keep drinking. Thank you.
Thank you, Tony.
This place has been here forever. It used to be the back room.
Back room's still there.
See, it's all falling into place again.
Yeah, it's not that much different.
It's early spring now, but come Memorial Day, it gets crazy around here and doesn't stop till Labor Day. Provincetown was always gay-friendly, in my time and way, way before my time. And this place, the Atlantic House, known always and forever by locals and visitors alike as the A House, is America's oldest operating gay bar. Everybody has come through these doors, so to speak. Most notably, a naked and frolicking Tennessee Williams.
Is the floor still shake, or did they fix it?
No, when we
that's
changed
really
it,
too bad.
everybody got seasick and started tripping. Now that it's even, they all say, let me have a cocktail so I can get my sea legs back.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
April Cabral owns the joint now, taken over for her father, the legendary Reggie Cabral, a forward-thinking dude, if there ever was one.
It was built in 1798.
How long in the family, in your family?
Over 75 years. My father, during that time, he had Billie Holiday appeared, he had Nina Simone, Ella Fitzgerald, all the big names of jazz.
How has town changed? Has it changed?
Oh, I've changed tremendously. Gay lifestyle is much more accepted.
Look, in 1972, my feeling was that this was a gay town and that I was here at the pleasure of, somebody else, which is sort of the opposite of everywhere outside of here at that time.
Oh, yes.
This was a largely Catholic,
Portuguese,
conservative fishing community, but it was also known as Helltown.
It was Helltown. That's where the Puritans sent their rejects. Right out here.
Right. Farther out on the hook.
That's not kidding. Provincetown, I think, always had the mixture, really, of the bohemian people and the fishermen, the pirates, the writers, the drunks, all that.
Anyone who had a lifestyle outside of the mainstream was welcome here, pretty much.
Whatever floats your boat, It's all good.
Oh, how I wish we could both go back to that summer.
Over a century ago, Provincetown was a hard-working fishing village with multi-generational families of fishermen.
My name's Bo Gribben. My father fished, and I was pretty much raised here my whole life, where I'm from. It's who I am. But it used to be like 2 out of 3 families in this town, this community, were fishing families. Most of them are now gone, and we're really like a minority. It used to be a fishing community with a homosexual problem. Now it's a homosexual community with a fishing problem.
The first Portuguese fishermen arrived here in 1840. The Maine families created a community built around fishing, and this town lived off that industry well into the 20th century. It persisted even when I was here, keeping up old Catholic fishing traditions like the blessing of the fleet. These days, however, there are fewer and fewer boats to bless.
My name's Scott Rowe. I'm a commercial fisherman. Sea scallops, 4th generation. I started when I was 5. It was cool back then. There was like 70 or 80 boats here. They were 5 or 6 deep. Now it's just down to like 7 or 8. No, I'm wicked proud of my heritage, and I would never do anything else. This is my office, man. Look at it. I'm gonna do this until I can't move anymore.
We roll into town like clockwork, 2:30, 3 o'clock in the morning. It's quiet. The town's been ripped up all night long. We come down here, hit the water. What could be better?
Well, good time of year to be here, and nice weather today.
Yeah, pretty nice day.
Doing good.
It's a little breezy. It might be a little nautical.
All right.
A little bit.
I'm sure I'll be fine. I've watched The Deadliest Catch, so
So you ready?
I'm ready.
Time to press the fun button. Clear. All clear. Used to be that this was the best thing in the world. We were like, the greatest thing about fishing was you were kind of like a cowboy, like a pioneer. You could go out, and as hard as you could push, competition was welcome. We were fiercely independent. That independence is like little by little taken away.
Is there a limited number of stuff out there?
Well, there's a total allowable catch. We're on a 600-pound trip limit right now.
And the payout ain't much. Do the math. A good day of scalloping brings in, say, $9,000. From that $9,000, take away $3,000 for the lease, $1,000 for fuel, and split the remainder amongst the crew. And on top of that, fishing's really just a crapshoot. Many days, there's simply nothing to catch.
So why the are you doing this?
Well, it's still what we love to do. Like for us, we say it all turns to shit when we come back around the breakwater. Like once we get out to there, we feel like we're at home.
Like I said, it ain't easy. Today, according to Bo, Scott, and Zeb, this was just a little breeze.
How rough does it have to be when you look out and say, I'm not going out today?
It starts like blowing like 30, 35. We like days like this because the competition stays in. Really?
Pussies.
My dad used to say, when you're dry, you're not making any money. We're fishing.
So it's taking a snap until flying back, take your head off.
Not too often, no.
I hate when that happens.
Yeah, it's a bummer. In the summer, you'll be able to smell the coconut. Another big trick we have, because now the guys decided they like this part of the beach, right? So they're all out here nude sunbathing. So I pick up my glasses and I tell them, wow, look at the breasts on that girl. And you give it to them and they see something they weren't expecting to see. It works every time, though. Can't believe he didn't cook nothing. Can't believe it, man. What? Got Anthony Bourdain on deck. We don't even have nothing to eat. The best part of it, the anticipation to see what's in there. So every tow, I'm like, I just can't wait. You're like looking, you're like, what's gonna be in there? What's gonna be in there? Sometimes it's a disappointment, but a lot of times it's a disappointment. How many did we get? Got a few. Is there? All right, we're out. That's why it's fishing and not catching.
Yep.
They'll taste all that much better. This
place had been here forever when I rolled into town. How long has this place been open?
For our time. I think this is the only place in town that's unchanged.
And these are paintings of customers?
Yeah.
How long do I have to drink here to get my face up there? 40 years?
Couple more years. Yeah, at least.
Back when I worked in town for fishermen, there was the Forecastle, Cookie's Tap Room, and this place, the Old Colony. Of the three, it's the only one left.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, wait a minute, I recognize these. Yeah, you guys eat scallops?
Yeah.
As brawny, hard-working men of the sea, we deserve these beers, these finest of all oysters, the Wellfleets.
Wow. The finest oysters known to man. How are you, then? These are fantastic. Wow, what a treat. Is there going to be a next generation of fishermen in the family? What happens after you guys?
It's gonna die. The next generation of fishermen that are like coming onto our boats, they're opportunists for the income. It's not for the love of being on the water.
This is the end. The fisheries is gonna die. Cheers.
All right.
I didn't actually tell him that.
Thank you, guys. Cheers. This is going to end badly.
Hey.
Cheers. Cheers to you.
It's a nice house. I mean, it just feels like I never left in a lot of ways, but of course, it's 40 years later almost. And that was the Sodom and Gomorrah by the sea over there. You know, a big candy store for a horny, stupid 17-year-old with a taste for chemicals. You know, I was an angry young man. What the hell was I so angry about? It came as a rude surprise to me when I turned 30, because I'd always sort of figured I'd be dead by then. I was still quite some time away from my first bag of heroin, but you know, there's a lot of ways it was a foregone conclusion. My whole life was sort of leading up to that point, to my first bag of dope.
I left Provincetown with restaurant experience, a suntan, and an ever-deepening relationship with recreational drugs. I went to culinary school, then to New York City, and never returned. Today, however, I'm staying in Massachusetts, heading over to the western part of the state, one of the most beautiful areas of the country, the gorgeous mill towns, Victorian houses, deeply felt, famously upright New England values, Norman Rockwell America, where something really inexplicable and unexpected has happened.
Bucolic, New England is a new mecca for heroin use.
Emergency room admissions, overdose deaths. We have rural law enforcement areas dealing with crimes being committed that never happened before.
Detectives are working around the clock. Dealers are making a killing.
Not New York or Baltimore or LA or Chicago, but rural towns like this one are now statistically ground zero for the heroin epidemic. What the hell happened?
The next couple of years, if this heroin use trend continues to grow, it may be beyond getting a handle on. I'm a detective with the Greenfield Police Department, and my focus is undercover in narcotic investigations. This is a well-known area to us, very active. Heroin use, past year, it's just increased. It's to a level I've never seen any other drug come into an area. People that are in it are all gonna be affected. It hasn't topped out yet. Someone you've known, someone you went to school with, someone you work with.
So, Sonny Crockett gets a Ferrari. What's wrong with this picture?
Tried the Lexus, but they said no way, so I got this one.
So it's being reported in the national papers. There's been an explosion of heroin use, heroin-related crimes, overdoses. Now, how's that happen?
I think once this area realized that we had a heroin problem, we were already behind it, trying to play catch-up. We are on the 91 corridor. Route 91 has been dubbed the heroin highway at this point. It's a widely used road to go north and south. There's opportunists here, and for low money input, they're getting a high profit. That's the typical heroin packaging. There'll be bundles of 10, be 50 bags here.
So 60 to 80 bucks for 10.
They can charge whatever they want. It's all supply and demand.
That's one dose per for most people?
They'll do multiple bags, anywhere from 3 to 5 bags at a time, up to 30 bags a day. And the current economics of the town, I am the only one assigned to the narcotics position.
How many heroin addicts do you think are walking the streets of Greenfield right now?
I'm gonna say that we're in the high hundreds.
Wow.
We're in the high hundreds.
High hundreds.
Yeah. It's hitting every age group, economic household. It's out there.
So we don't have Crips and Bloods taking over motel rooms. The person selling you dope more likely to be familiar than a stranger?
I'm gonna meet a past distributor I've known for several years.
We meet Carmen, as we'll call her, a powerful local heroin dealer turned paid confidential police informant out in the woods.
How'd you get into the business initially?
I needed the money. I needed to support my family. Couldn't get a job.
How easy was it to get into the dope business?
Not hard at all, because it's cheap.
Mm-hmm. Was there money in it?
Oh, hell yeah. Yeah, oh yeah.
It's like Mayberry out here from looking around. I mean, who's using heroin now? I mean, what were kids?
Kids.
Today's heroin epidemic is different than the one that raged through America in the 1970s, in a few significant ways. Back then, heroin was mostly seen as a poor people problem, somebody else's problem, the sort of thing that musicians and criminals got into, marginal people, far from the white main streets of Mayberry, USA. What those people did to themselves, well, it was unfortunate, but not our problem, until somebody broke into your house. Today, it's absolutely the reverse. The new addicts are almost entirely white, middle class, and from towns and areas like this.
How do you think you make it better?
You don't.
Whoa, you don't?
No. There's going to be more robberies. There's going to be more killings. Take one person off the street here, 2 more come in.
At your peak, how many customers did you have?
Probably all of Greenfield.
What happened? How did the kid next door, along with mom, pop, and grandma too, become users of hardcore illegal narcotic drugs? The worst drug with the worst reputation?
I'll take you there.
Well, maybe start here.
Once you've found the right doctor and have told him or her about your pain, don't be afraid to take what they give you. Often, it will be an opioid medication.
Here's a 1996 promotional video from the fine folks at Purdue Pharmaceuticals. Sent around to doctors, it encouraged them to prescribe the latest, newest, most wonderful drug for long-term pain management, OxyContin.
Some patients may be afraid of taking opioids because they're perceived as too strong or addictive. But that is far from actual fact. Less than 1% of patients taking opioids actually become addicted.
Sales of OxyContin, initially and falsely proclaimed as not addictive, absolutely skyrocketed from $45 million in 1996 to $3.1 billion in 2010. That same year, Purdue tweaked the way they were making Oxy in an attempt to, they said, limit its addictive qualities. Finally, the government and law enforcement took a harsh look at the drug, and it became much harder to get legally, which sucked for the thousands and thousands who by now had a serious habit.
I'm Ruth Potee. I'm a family physician in Greenfield, Massachusetts, and I grew up here. My dad was actually a small-town doctor out here. I'm a total generalist, but for the last 4.5 years, a larger part of my practice has been focused on addiction to opiates.
You know, I got put on pain medication. Then when they started disappearing, everybody else was doing it.
The heroin.
You know, I can get a bag of heroin easier than I can get a joint.
And once they start, they just slip down that rabbit hole and, you know, maybe they make it out. That's our goal, is to get them out and to live healthy again. We've really, in our own way, created this mess that we're in now.
In downtown Greenfield, the People's Pint, an eco-conscious, locavorian pub that brews its own beer, uses only farm-fresh ingredients, and composts its leftovers. It's where I meet up with Dr. Potee for dinner.
I guess my first question is,
Who's doing dope?
Everybody starts with pills. There's nobody who
Everybody.
Everybody starts with pills. There's nobody who goes from marijuana to heroin. There's an in-between step. Always pills. It's pills that people get from their doctor. From me, particularly the young people, had an injury, a sports-related injury, had their wisdom teeth out, and they felt awesome on the drug, and they were like, how can I get more of that? After 3 to 6 months of looking for more of that, they couldn't find it, and then they jumped.
Is it Big Pharma's fault? Is it doctor's fault? Is it who made a mistake here?
So I think it's complicated. I'm not going to say there's one entity here that's responsible, but there was a lot of money to be made by promoting the treatment of pain to the highest level. And Big Pharma made a lot of money on this. And I was taught in residency, you give people as much pain medicine as they need, you get them out of pain, we will judge your hospital, we will judge your emergency room based on your pain scores. That's how we were taught. And we were also told these medicines aren't really all that addictive. We started handing out pills like crazy. 100 million Americans have chronic pain. So we did a disservice as doctors and as prescribers. Like, we took data that was bullshit, right? And then we went forth with it and said, oh, prescribe it to everyone. They won't get addicted. We know what we're doing. Guess what? We didn't know what we were doing.
A few miles down the road from Greenfield is Shelburne Falls. The good old days that everybody used to talk about back when I was a kid. Sundays, church and picnics. Saturday nights, Sox games, beer, and bowling. The Shelburne Falls bowling alley is where time seems, anyway, to have stopped. First opened in 1906, this is the second oldest bowling alley in America, dedicated to old-school New England-style candlepin bowling. The Holy Rollers, a crowd of septuagenarians who grew up in Shelburne and plan, and this is a reasonable expectation, to kick my ass. They've been playing here since the 50s.
I was never allowed to come near the bowling alley.
Really, this is a den of iniquity?
Oh, this was, my aunt did not think this was a good idea.
Man, it's a tiny little ball. This looks really hard. All right.
It's very different, Shelburne Falls. I grew up here.
Right.
Very different. People don't know each other as well as everyone used to know each other.
When I grew up in Greenfield, everybody had jobs. I worked from the time I was 13. If I had to go back there now, I don't believe in drugs. I don't have anything to do with them. But what choice would I have? Standing on the corner? I probably would get into a business. What's a good business? Well-paying business. I'm sorry. I mean, that's where we are.
Yes, it used to be a very different world, towns like this one, and there were many. But like everywhere else, it seems the mills, the factories closed down, and with them a certain kind of social contract with the people who worked there.
My name is Ed Gregory, originally from Turners Falls, born and brought up here, born in 1945. My father was an employee of the Strathmore Mill, as was my grandfather. During the heyday, there were 3 paper mills, a cotton mill, a silk mill, a foundry. It was just a beehive of activity here.
Back then, a company town like this, the company actually took care of you. They built and provided homes for their employees, schools. The river provided energy. The company provided nearly everything else.
The heyday is gone. People are definitely struggling to find work. The town just kind of died during the 80s. When the folks came to work, they were immigrants.
Attracted by the manufacturing here?
Correct. You know, made it a possibility of owning a home in a real decent part of the county here. So my father was here, a millwright. A millwright's job is a jack of all trades, if you will, if there was something that needed to be repaired.
So you could work in a mill, live in a nice home, send your kids to school, make a living, all on a mill salary.
You bet.
It's unthinkable now, almost. What happened to the business?
Things are going to other countries, but not coming back to the United States.
This time became redundant.
Correct.
Again and again, all over the country, I keep running into situations like this, where industry has died or fled or simply relocated. I meet people like Charles Garbiel, hometown heroes who, for some reason, though they could probably go anywhere, take their skills and return to where they grew up. Shady Glen Diner. Today's special, a tribute to the old European immigrant culture of the area, the New England boiled dinner.
So I hear rumors of corned beef and cabbage, is that right?
Yeah, we do, every week we do a corned beef and cabbage dinner.
Slowly cooked corned beef, boiled potatoes, steamed cabbage.
Wow, that's a beast. Awesome, thank you. How long have you been here?
2 years.
Were you from this area?
Yeah, I grew up here and I've been coming here since a kid and went through a few owners and then it came up for sale and decided to give it a shot.
Generally speaking, who are your customers?
Most of them, they're retirees. They've been coming here since they were 30.
And this you don't see so much anymore. Dino-era homemade pies, and lots of them, all baked on premises.
Raspberry cream pie for me, thank you. This is not something that we see a lot of. Old school pie like that, and this number of them?
Yeah, everything is made here. And they're all the original recipes from the 60s, so.
Oh, yeah.
The index cards are so old, they're all faded yellow.
This is exotic for me.
Really?
Oh, yeah. Well, how's business?
It's getting better. The drug problem has started to really get rampant. Took over May 1st, 2012, and by the end of that year, I was broken into 4 times. It wasn't just me that was broken into, it was multiple businesses time after time. I came in one morning to open up, and I actually had a guy in front of the register, and he got up and pulled a knife out. I realized it really wasn't worth anything over a knife, so.
I think what you're doing here is terrific. I mean, you know, our man can go and get a good hot open turkey sandwich and a good slice of pie. It's a beautiful thing.
Hush, little baby, don't say a word. Papa's gonna buy you a mockingbird.
My name is Heather Taylor.
And if that mockingbird won't sing,
I'm a mother of 3.
he's gonna buy you a diamond.
The 2 older kids experienced my addiction. My addiction started with pills. I started sniffing heroin. I shot up for the first time, and shortly thereafter, I found out I was pregnant. I had my daughter. She was in the hospital for 6 weeks because she was addicted to the methadone, and I had to watch my baby go through withdrawal. My son was 4, and my daughter was 6 weeks when they were taken away. I lost my kids for 33 days shy of 2 years. I became serious about my recovery.
So is this the bad part of town, or is this just a place where you're unlikely to be people to find you?
Just a place where people are unlikely to find you. I wouldn't necessarily say there was a bad part of Greenfield. I mean, it's probably pretty spread out bad, I guess you'd say.
So what would you do? Would you come here to shoot up?
Yep. You know, we'd go down here and just hang out down there. I bet if we walked along here, we'd probably find needles and bags and, you know.
So basically you'd come down here, shoot up, and then where you gonna nod out? Just sit down and...
Just sit down and hang out, or if it's a day like this, probably just hang out under the underpass over there.
Not exactly La Vida Loca.
No, as you can see, all the trash and yuck. It's dirty and gross, and there's probably people who live down here.
Really?
Yeah, there's a lot of homeless people in Greenfield.
What do you think now, like when you see somebody like who's clearly junk sick on the street?
You know, it gives me that yuck, sick feeling, and it scares me. Like, it reminds me why I don't want to be out there. It's just scary. A friend of mine overdosed January 1st of this year, and my brother-in-law overdosed in Wendy's bathroom, and they found him, and they brought him back to life. He was dead in the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my Narcan. I carry this around. I have one of these in my house, and I have one of these in my car. I have a fear that my husband's gonna relapse and I'm gonna find him dead. You just put this in here and squirt it up their nose.
Now, in most cases, as I understand it,
They're right out of it. I mean,
Yeah, they're
what's
right out of it
happening?
and they're instantly sick.
They don't wake up happy, but they wake up.
But they wake up.
Okay, you're in a pizzeria, you walk to the bathroom, and there's
somebody's
somebody
on the
blue there.
floor.
Are you saving that life?
Yep, I'm saving that life. Absolutely. And then kicking their ass.
Better now? Life better now?
Absolutely. My kids have been home 3 years. You know, I no longer have to watch my back. You know, I live a pretty straight and narrow life, which, you know, people might say is boring, but I love my life today. I'm grateful.
Where are we headed?
This way.
Okay.
To the Recover Project. This is where my recovery started.
Started nearly a decade ago on one of the two main streets of Greenfield, the Recover Project is community-based, an open arms program aimed at helping addicts stay clean.
Given the opiate heroin epidemic in our community, we'd like to start the conversation, just kind of sharing with one another, you know, what happened at that point of our life, what that was like.
So as a child growing up in a home in addiction, I didn't understand how they could do all the stuff that they did to me and my brother and sister. Like, don't you love me enough? Then I became a mother, and then I became a heroin addict. And I did all that stuff to my kids.
My doctor was my biggest drug dealer. I fell down a flight of stairs. I'd just been married, had a baby, was working 2 jobs, college on top of it. Next thing you know, I'm on these prescriptions. That's where it all began for me.
What are the odds that you're gonna own a house? What's the odds that you're gonna have a nice car? Any car, a place to live, all that stuff? Seems less and less likely all the time. Contrast that with what happens when you stick a spike in your arm, and why wouldn't you?
So I have this picture in my head of when I got the phone call that my daughter's father had been in the accident and I had just had a C-section. And they come in with this needle to give me Ativan, I think, and all I really needed was a hug. Like, I just needed someone to come up to me and give me a hug and say, I care about you, Caitlin, and everything's gonna be okay.
I'll tell you something really shameful about myself. The first time I shot up, I looked at myself in the mirror with a big grin. You know, something was missing in me, whether it was a self-image situation, whether it was a character flaw. You know, I came from a, stable family, the suburbs, I had a lot of advantages. There was some dark genie inside me that I very much hesitate to call a disease that led me to dope. I didn't have anyone else who could have talked me out of what I was doing. An intervention wouldn't have worked. I didn't have a child. I have a 7-year-old daughter now who I never would have had. I never would have thought. I looked in a mirror and I saw somebody worth saving, or that I wanted to at least try real hard and save. Anybody could find themselves very easily in this situation. And, I look back on that and I think about what I'll tell my daughter, that was Daddy. Ain't no doubt about it. But I hope that I'll be able to say that was Daddy then, this is Daddy now. That I'm alive and living in hope. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
In Massachusetts, the clam bake is a ritual going back to the Flintstones, before the Pilgrims. Today at the long-standing, locals-only shooting club Schützenverein, as it's called in German, for the immigrants who first started this rustic fraternity back in 1912. Club leader Ray Zerkowski takes me through the fascinating and arcane process of creating an old-school clam bake.
Basically, we build a kiln with hardwood and stone. We burn it down, remove the wood, we cover it with seaweed and the corn husk, and we put our clams and lobsters and corn in there like a pressure cooker right now.
We've got a pig hiding in there also.
No. We're gonna pull a tester out right now, and you can kind of see what we got here.
Let's eat.
All right.
First, some good chowder, and there really is only one kind of chowder, New England clam chowder.
Beautiful. That's good.
Steamer clams, lobster, corn, potatoes.
That's a pretty luxurious clam bake you're doing here.
That was amazing.
Everybody's attention for a second. The Opioid Education and Awareness Task Force came together several months ago. I don't think we realized how quickly this could turn into a crisis for us.
Everybody in this room has been touched by or impacted by narcotics in some way. The Franklin County Opioid Safety Task Force is a grassroots response. Doctors, law enforcement, led by Franklin County Sheriff Chris Donnellan, addiction specialists, and addicts themselves are coming together to find a community-based solution to what is finally being recognized as a public health crisis rather than simply a criminal justice problem.
It's a great opportunity to come here tonight to break bread and look at the successes that we have had so far. I think what makes me more proud than anything else about living in Franklin County is that we will not sit back and wait for anybody else to solve this problem for us. We're going to be a model for the Commonwealth and for the nation on how we save our young people and how we save our community.
You know, again, it's a change. The cities were the place where all of the bad stuff was supposed to happen. It wasn't supposed to be nice towns like Greenfield, right?
It isn't the image that people used to have 20 years ago, that it's a junkie in an alley somewhere using a needle. It's not. It's your kids, it's your neighbors.
The worst, I think, is when you have these young people who break a leg and they go to the doctor and they get a prescription for Oxy and become addicted to it. These are any kid who plays a high school sport. It's a horrible circumstance when that happens.
It's only started in the past couple of years. Yeah, the heroin was around, pills were around, but we didn't have people dying.
Once you've been busted for heroin, that's a hard thing to live down.
You got to get rid of that shame factor so that people can deal with it, address it, and get support from the community.
I feel like we're going to lose a whole generation of our young people. 18 to 22 is what we're seeing the most. The district attorney, the sheriff, myself, the police department are all united. This task force has grown to over 100 people in a matter of 6 months, and that's what we're committed to doing. And you know, we will do it till the day I die.
I've lost one daughter to drugs. And, you know, whatever it takes.
Let's start by being honest with ourselves. As a nation, for decades, we were perfectly happy to write off whole neighborhoods, whole cities, whole generations of young men and women, as long as it was an inner city problem, an urban problem, which is to say, a black people problem, a brown people problem. Send them to prison, into a system from which they'll never return. Maybe now that it's really come home to roost, now that it's the high school quarterback, your next door neighbor, your son, your daughter, now that grandma's as likely to be a junkie as anybody else, we'll accept that there has never been a real war on drugs. War on drugs implies an us versus them. And all over this part of America, people are learning there is no them. There is only us. And we're going to have to figure this out together.